Okay, let me explain. In July of 2023, I created a video which was to do with my Mutalith Vortex Beast, Chauncey. It took me a while to paint, and I was basically asking for ideas of what to do to make things pop. I felt like something was missing, and I didn't really know what to do with the base. My intent was to take the top 3 comments and implement them, and see how they turned out. However, the top comment kind of changed all that. Top comment was, give him a hat. I thought this was a great idea, but what followed was 9 months of analysis paralysis, ADHD brain, jumping between projects, and eventually literally doing nothing. And this isn't the first idea on this channel that I've had ideas that haven't really ever gone anywhere, or I've not done anything with, or I've spent far too long trying to catch up on, or not do. In fact, in the same month of July, I said I'd paint Magnus on stream. Still have barely done any of that. So this video, I want to talk briefly about why I think Warhammer is just not a good hobby for me. I want to get ahead of any comments, but I'm not quitting Warhammer, and I'm not quitting this channel. I'm still going to obviously do Warhammer. I do love painting. The creative side is great. The game side is great. I'm enjoying my time with Warhammer. It's a good hobby for me fulfillment-wise. It's just not a good fit for my personality, if you see what I mean. And that doesn't mean that I don't want to not continue to want even more. What? And it doesn't mean I want to stop or I should stop. It's just more I want to explore why it's not a great fit for me personally and why my brain definitely has problems which I need to improve upon. And maybe Warhammer can help me with that. And I think a big case study for how my brain works and how these things kind of fall apart is Chauncey's hat. So what are the steps that means it would take 9 months for someone to buy a small plastic hat from Amazon to put on top of a larger plastic model? Well, my intent was never just to put a small plastic hat on Chauncey. It kind of was, but I was envisioning an entire video around a joke about making hats and trying different things, different household objects, like the hat counter from Monopoly, for example, and then start learning all these things that go out of control and go crazy and all over the place and have lots of different fun hats for Chauncey. I even bought myself a felting kit. Turns out felting seems really difficult, so I didn't do anything with it. And I brought a variety of other little hats here that I wanted to modify. I even got Dremel out to try and carve out the plastic one, but it just never seems to come together. And the other problem was this, is once I released the video, 10th edition came along. So I started making videos about 10th edition, started focusing on my Screaming Ravens, and then it's one of those things where once you fall out of doing a project, it's a lot harder to pick it back up. It's like if you ever play a long RPG or something, if you quit and come back a few months or years later, you have no idea what's going on. It's much easier for you to restart. And one of the big problems I have is getting through projects, getting to the point where it's quite difficult or I get bored of it, putting it to one side, starting a new project, and then it being very, very difficult to go back to that first project. I have so many units across my armies that are half done in various states that I'm finding very, very difficult to go back and complete because I don't know where to start when it's kind of in this weird half-finished state. And part of me almost wants to just start them all over again, but I know that's a stupid idea because I'd have to buy all the models again. This isn't unique to me for Warhammer either. This is a lot of different projects, which is kind of why I started this YouTube channel. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who struggles with this. It's just one of those things where because these ideas in my head get so big and massive, and then I'm moving on to other things, the ideas in my head get so big that I can no longer know how to start them or how to finish them. Now, all these ideas, these grand ideas of making various different hats for Chauncey, I didn't do any of them, and then it's been 9 months, and it's always just in the back of my head that I need to do something with Chauncey's hat. And so this is kind of it. I could spend a lot more time butzing around changing things, but at some point I've just got to let it go and just say it's done. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future, but I just need to say it's done so it's no longer chewing away at my head. And I'm sorry that it took 9 months for what is essentially a disappointing April Fool's video, but it's just one of my struggles. And yeah, I am just kind of went with excuses about why I didn't fulfill this promise or just kind of fulfilled it badly. I kind of just want to be open and frank about why this was such a weird project and why it kind of fell so flat when I kept, saying I had a lot of good ideas for Chauncey's hat. That's why it's going to come later, but then it never really came to fruition. Just these ideas in my head do not stand the test of time, and it's one of my biggest flaws, I think, in terms of being a person. And Warhammer really, really amplifies that. For me, my ideas outweigh my skill, and Warhammer is a hobby that has a very slow skill ramp up, as in it takes a long time to get better at these things because it takes so long to do them. I'm sure we've all been in positions where we have a project that we want to complete, but we don't want to complete it there and then because we feel like our skill level is not high enough, so we try to improve our skills, but it takes so long to improve those skills that you never get round to it, and that project goes out your head and never gets done. That slow, iterative improvement in hobbies is something I'm still working on. It's something I've been working on with the videos and in painting, and I'm getting better at it, but coming from someone who prefers to do things like speedrunning, for example, where you can restart super quickly quickly over and over again to practice and to improve, this is a very, very different vibe. I'm someone who will happily restart the same level in a game over and over again if it restarts very quickly, and I can make iterative process very, very quickly, very, very snappily, just by constant, getting that muscle memory. But with Warhammer, that is not how that works at all. If this is something you deal with or you've dealt with before, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your tales, your stories, and how you may have improved or how it affects you, because this is something that does affect me. The main thing on this channel I want to show is my improvement over time, not just in terms of painting Warhammer, playing the game, but with video making and these kind of things as well. These kind of, I guess, flaws in my personality. I could have just continued to put off Chauncey's hat and made a promise that at some point it would get done, and then years down the line I might do it, but I think doing this way, it makes it an important lesson for me to make sure that I don't let this stuff happen again. If it happens again, then I've not learned. This video should be the learning experience on not over-promising or not over-committing to a silly idea, just doing it at the time. It's certainly not a solved problem because I've got a bunch of other things I promised that I was going to do, and I will do them eventually. And maybe in the future when I am actually better at this or got better ideas or I can do things quicker, I'll revisit Chauncey's hat and actually make something that's, good. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you didn't, go ahead and like and subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.